What's happening, fuckers? You've caught me at quite a good time. I'm in the middle of a small vacation in Night City, perhaps the second scummiest city I've ever been to. I've seen the sights, met the locals, and indulged in the many vices this city has to offer. Even got a little bit of work done as well. You know, this place got quite the bad rap when Cyberpunk 2077 dropped back in 2020. Let's have a look and see if that reputation is still well deserved. So, let's get into it. Shall we?
Then check this out.
Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world first-person title, which combines elements of shooters, RPGs, and the schizophrenic rantings of Alex Jones. You play as V for Vendetta, ruthless mercenary and master of the Kubrick stare, on his mission to steal a special chip from a Japanese mega-corporation. Cyberpunk offers 3 start options: Sigma Male, Drive featuring Ryan Gosling, and Amazon Wellness Center Operative, each which alter aspects of the game's story. After selecting your start and creating your character, being sure to smooth out your downstairs, you're thrust noveless into the sprawling world of Night City, a dystopian mega-city straight out of the wet dreams of George Soros, filled with gangs, privately owned police forces, and vending machines built into your apartment. From here you must drive, shoot, and commit acts of terrorism, all the while followed by the funny man from Reddit.
This is red! This is memes!
Cyberpunk offers great variety both in terms of gameplay and content. Avoiding the pitfalls of other open-world titles, Cyberpunk's world never feels empty, providing the player with enough side missions and collectibles beyond the main story to avoid having
an absolute Watch Dogs moment.
Having a giant fuck-off world with nothing to do in it. From optional mini-bosses dubbed cyber psychos, people who signed up to Elon Musk's Neuralink and went mental, to random standalone missions that mix up the gameplay, Cyberpunk keeps itself fresh, and avoids feeling like a world full of useless fluff. For the most part, the gameplay itself is also great. From moving your character throughout the world, to the previously mentioned driving and shooting, everything feels satisfying to use, and avoids the overly floaty feel that some games suffer from. The gunplay in Cyberpunk is especially satisfying, even more so considering my hobo with a shotgun build I've been using. Only Daddy Derek has ever had more fun with one of these. Cyberpunk does have its flaws though. Given the ambitious scope of the title, certain aspects feel poorly implemented, or lacking in any real depth. One of my biggest gripes with Cyberpunk is the melee combat. It could best be described as punching in a dream, with punches feeling as though they are lacking any real weight, reminiscent of GTA 5 combat at best, and classic Minecraft PvP at worst. The only time it's acceptable is when using the hammer, because you avoid the slap fight back and forth altogether, by breaking their skull. Other aspects of the game feel underdeveloped or tacked on, such as the limited and pointless crafting system, a feature that feels like it only exists to tick off another box on the 2010's game development requirements list. Even the AI feels incredibly basic, even when compared to something like GTA 5 which came out a decade earlier, and feels incredibly underdeveloped given the living breathing world that they were aiming for. However, considering some of the absolute NPC behavior you see these days, perhaps this is quite realistic.
What are you doing? What are you doing that for?
Have you heard of the High Elves?
Cyberpunk is an absolutely beautiful game, and in terms of presentation and performance is 1,000 years away from the unplayable mess that pissed Sony off so much back when it launched. In my time playing I've not seen one PS1 model, I've had barely any frame rate drops or crashes, and only had one instance where characters slid around a cutscene in T-poses. It absolutely nails the aesthetic they set out to create, managing to provide both bright neon-lit high streets and dirty back alleys, and at its best, the game looks absolutely stunning, like an E3 gameplay reveal that actually came out. This is combined with a brilliant soundtrack that complements its dark futuristic tone, both in terms of the actual soundtrack and the in-game radio stations, which may be some of the best stations in any game. My personal favorites are the Dirge and Royal Blue Radio, because I enjoy my sci-fi dystopia to the tunes of dark hip-hop and old-school jazz.
Goddamn, these cats are cooking! Oh, they're swinging! Fuck!
Overall, Cyberpunk leaves me feeling conflicted. It's probably the most fun I've had with a new title in a long time, but has niggling little issues that hold it back from being truly great. However, it goes without saying that it is streets ahead of where it was at launch, and I would definitely recommend people give it another chance. Anyway, I'll be off now. Just got back to the place I'm staying at. Look at that view. Absolutely breathtaking.